if you want to take the position that co-governance is a Pākehā compromise, you should really be looking at it from the other end of the spectrum, which is actually that's Māori compromising to co-govern a resource that we never agreed to give up.
So how I heard that, I mean, there was lots said in that conversation, but the biggest thing I took away from it was we're being told by those up the front at the moment about co-governance is that it's the Crown unfairly inviting Māori to the table to give them an unfair advantage. But actually, the way it started off, 100,000 Māori, 2,000 Europeans, it was actually Māori allowing the settlers, allowing the Crown to come to the table and co-govern. So what we're being told and what we're being said from the front on various political parties at the moment is all about, why are the Crown giving Māori quote unquote special rights or giving them a seat at the table when they don't deserve it? It's actually Māori, it's the Māori's table. The table belongs to Māori. So co-governance, that's what it is. It's their table. And actually they're the ones, as Moana said, who are compromising. It's a Māori compromise saying you can come to the table. So the way we're talking about co-governance now is just upside down and backwards and puts a completely different spin. Just come back to that thing, 100,000 Māori, 2,000 Europeans. Of course, Māori had to go, you can come to our table. You can come and run the place with us because we're the dominant force. And it took 20 years, Chewie. I looked at it today. It took 20 years from 1840, I think it was about 1859, 1860, when Europeans were all of a sudden more than Māori. And since then, they've never looked back. And I think what's happened is Europeans, the Crown, whatever, have taken on board the quote-unquote rights that Māori had when the document was signed. But you don't get to do that. You don't get to have a contract and then go, oh, we'll just take on your role now and you can take on ours. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. You don't get to change the contract based on your personal circumstances. It is what it is. So I found that enlightening, Chewie, that thought.
Every time I see people concerned about any sort of redress or co-governance or the fact that Māori might get a bigger say in how this country is run and managed, I just see fear. And it's fear that that somehow Māori are going to just turn all of our tricks on us, that we've stacked the deck for a couple of hundred years. So they're going to, turn around's fair play, right? Whereas every time, like I heard it in their interview, we want to share, we want to collaborate, we want to be an alliance. But the only place that those things come from is level ground. And we don't have it. We've got a European style of government. We have a European style of courts. We do things the way that they do in England. And so many of our things, that's where the core bedrock of how this country's system works. And in that time that's worked, what have we done? We've wrecked the environment. We've shit up all our rivers. We've made people hungry. We've pit people against each other. Like, where is the problem with going, well, maybe there's another way. Maybe the people that were here first might have some ideas about how to better manage things. And I'm not saying that we're going to completely wind back the clock to 1840. I'm just saying, why can't we include the people that we signed a document with to say, why don't we share this country?
I think as well that this whole kind of one nation, one citizenship thing, the reason that's also bullshit is this, right? And I've said this lots through my sort of broadcasting career, and I've said it on this show. So if you've heard this, I apologize. But arrogantly, I really think people need to get to terms with this. It doesn't matter if you're not Māori. The Māori story is a part of your story. Because if you're a part of this country, if you consider yourself a part of this country, then the Māori story is a part of your story. You don't have to be blooded into it. You don't have to be part of an iwi, but the Māori story is an integral part of this country. So if you're of this country, it's a part of your story. And if you reject that, then you're not getting all that this country can offer. And so many of those people that are like One Nation or that are that sort of thing, so many of those people reject that story. And if you reject that story, I'll just put it this way, you're not a real New Zealander, because that story should be a part of every New Zealander's story.